Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchased of God. Praising my Savior all the day long. And this is my story. This is my song. Oh, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story. This is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story. This is my song. Oh, thank you, Lord. Praising my Savior all the day long.
Hey, Pennsylvania. My name is John Lawley, and that was Steve Peterson on worship. And we are from Calvary Fellowship in Downington, Pennsylvania. And I'd like to bring you the word this morning. So one of the things our church is doing is going through 1 Peter. And what a sovereign plan of God to be in 1 Peter during this time. And in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13, Peter's talking to the church, really largely scattered, facing persecution. And Peter himself, we know, is facing persecution, and he's talking about how to really endure the suffering that awaits them as a church. And he sends out promises to the church about God being ultimately the judge, that he is in control, that they are to find themselves as fellow sufferers, as Christ himself suffered, that they're going to be headed towards eternal glory as they see their brothers and sisters in faith maybe being killed by the Roman authorities. And he's bringing to light this truth that, listen, God is in control, and that the Great Commission is paved through suffering, and so that they would be cross bearers in their daily walk with the Lord. And he says in verse 13 in chapter 1, he says this: "Therefore, prepare your minds for action and be sober-minded. Set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ." And so Peter is saying, be of sober mind, church. Remember that God is in control, that he is sovereign and good, and that as you face trials, to be of sober mind, to remember the promises that God has for us as a church. And so let's bring this to application. Church leaders, right now there's a lot of uncertainty about our future and what we should do. And some of us, should we open, should we not open our buildings? And we're looking at this world, and maybe some of our love of liberty and some of the things that we've taken for granted really as a church are being robbed from us in some ways. And we have to face this question: does our love for liberty outweigh our call as believers to love people and to serve people? And a lot of us are struggling with what that looks like, and how does that apply in our daily lives. And so as leaders, I just wanted to encourage you to say, are you sober-minded? Are you caught up in the unknown? Are you resting in the promises of God? That as a church, maybe we'll even face greater persecutions in the days ahead. We can still worship because God is in control, and that we can take promises of God's word in 1 Peter, as Peter is remembering that Jesus himself suffered and saying, hey, listen, take heart, be of sober mind, be encouraged that God is still sovereign, he's still in control. And so, church, I pray this blesses you. I pray that you start your week and you move throughout the week leading in the ways that God's called you to lead, with joy and hope in the midst of our circumstances. Love you guys. Blessings.